Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. Most people wake up on Monday and wish it was still Sunday. The alarm goes off, the stress kicks in, and before the day even begins, they're already counting down to Friday. But here's the truth. Successful people don't dread Mondays, they design them. They understand something most people don't. Monday isn't the start of your stress, it's the reset of your success. Because every single Monday, you get a brand new chance to start over, to refocus, and to realign with your goals. So today, I'm going to show you exactly what successful people do every Monday morning. Not by luck, not by chance, but by choice. Most people wake up on Monday with a sigh. The alarm goes off, and before they even open their eyes, their mind starts listing problems, the inbox waiting to explode, the deadlines piling up, the commute, the meetings, the stress. It's almost like Monday has become the universal symbol of exhaustion, a day that people love to hate. But here's a mindset shift that successful people live by. Monday isn't your enemy. It's your reset button. Think about it. Every 7 days, life gives you a brand new opportunity to start again, a clean slate, a fresh canvas. You don't have to carry the weight of last week's mistakes, stress, or missed goals into this one. Monday is your chance to clear the clutter mentally, emotionally, and even physically, and begin again with purpose. The problem is that most people have been programmed to dread Mondays. We've been conditioned since school, from early alarms to endless tasks, to associate Monday with pressure. We carry that same energy into adulthood, dragging ourselves through the week as if it's a punishment. But that mindset keeps us trapped in a cycle of stress and stagnation. Successful people think differently. They see Monday the way athletes see a new game, or how entrepreneurs see a new quarter, as an opportunity to reset the scoreboard. No matter what happened last week, the mistakes, the missed targets, the arguments, the fatigue, Monday gives them a chance to rewrite the narrative. That's the power of perspective. When you see Monday as a reset, you stop carrying the emotional baggage of last week into the new one. You stop saying, "Here we go again," and start saying, "Here's my next opportunity." You begin to treat your week with intentionality, not as something that happens to you, but something that happens for you. And that's when everything starts to change. The truth is, success is less about massive breakthroughs and more about consistent resets. It's about how quickly you can clear your mind and refocus your energy after a setback. Mondays are built for that exact purpose. They're nature's reminder that no matter how messy things got last week, you always get another shot. Imagine this. Instead of hitting snooze on your alarm, you wake up on Monday and think, "Today, I get to start over." You make your coffee, not with dread, but with intention. You write down 3 things you're grateful for. You look at your calendar and decide what really matters this week. You give yourself permission to release the mistakes of last week and focus on what you can control right now. That's not just motivational talk. That's a high-performance habit. Top performers, CEOs, athletes, creators, and leaders all have one thing in common. They treat the beginning of the week as a mental reset. It's their anchor. They don't let old energy follow them into new opportunities. They treat Monday like a mirror, reflecting where they've been and reminding them where they're going. They also understand that momentum builds from mindset. If you start your Monday in chaos, your week follows that pattern. But if you start your Monday grounded, focused, and optimistic, your week tends to unfold with the same energy. You attract better conversations, make clearer decisions, and show up more intentionally in everything you do. The average person uses Friday as their relief day, the day they finally exhale after a long, draining week. But successful people use Monday as their ignition day, the moment they set the tone for the rest of the week. That's the shift. That's the mindset difference. Instead of seeing Monday as the mountain you have to climb, start seeing it as the runway you get to take off from. Instead of groaning about what's ahead, get excited about what's possible. You don't need to wait for a new year to reset your goals. You get 52 fresh starts every year, one every single Monday. And that's powerful. Here's the thing: you can't control everything that happens during your week. You can't stop unexpected problems or stressful moments from appearing. But you can control how you begin. And beginnings matter. The way you start your week determines the way you carry yourself through it. So, take back your Monday. Stop letting it drain you and start letting it drive you. Wake up on Monday not with dread, but with discipline. Approach it with clarity, gratitude, and energy. Ask yourself, what do I want this week to stand for? What do I want to create, improve, or change? Who do I want to be by Friday? Because when you reset your mind every Monday, you don't just change your week, you start changing your life. The people who rise above average aren't those who never fail. They're the ones who never stop resetting. So, when next Monday comes, don't hit snooze on your potential. Treat it as your personal restart button. Reframe it. Own it. Step into it with purpose. Because success isn't built on avoiding Mondays. It's built on mastering them. There's something powerful about silence, something almost magical. But in today's world, silence has become rare. Most people wake up and instantly reach for their phone. Before their feet even touch the floor, they've scrolled through news, messages, notifications, and chaos. Their mind is already reacting before it's even had the chance to breathe. That's why successful people begin their Mondays and their weeks with stillness. Stillness is not laziness. It's not a waste of time. It's a weapon. A secret advantage that separates those who drift through life from those who design it intentionally. When you start your day, especially your Monday, in stillness, you take back control of your energy, your focus, and your direction. You set the tone for everything that follows. Because here's the truth: if you don't start your day with your own thoughts, you'll spend the rest of it chasing everyone else's. Think about how most people begin their Mondays. They wake up, check their phone, see an email from their boss, a news headline that stresses them out, and a social media post that makes them feel behind. In just 60 seconds, their mind has gone from peaceful to panicked. They haven't even left bed, but they're already in reaction mode. Successful people do the opposite. They pause. They understand that clarity doesn't come from movement. It comes from stillness. Before jumping into the noise of the world, they create a quiet moment for themselves. Maybe it's sitting in silence with a cup of coffee. Maybe it's a short meditation, a deep breathing exercise, or journaling their intentions for the week. That small act of stillness builds mental space, and that space creates power. Because when you start with stillness, you give yourself permission to choose how you want to show up, not just react to whatever shows up for you. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. You don't need a fancy routine or an hour of meditation. Even 5 minutes can change everything. Sit quietly. Breathe. Ask yourself, what matters most this week? What kind of energy do I want to bring into this day? When you ask those questions in silence, you start leading your week instead of being led by it. There's a reason so many high achievers, athletes, and entrepreneurs guard their mornings carefully. They understand that how you start anything determines how you experience everything. If your Monday morning is filled with noise, distraction, and stress, your week will echo that same energy. But if you start your Monday grounded and calm, you carry that focus into every decision, conversation, and challenge that follows. Stillness is not about doing nothing. It's about creating room for everything that matters. In stillness, you can hear your own thoughts again. You can listen to the ideas that usually get drowned out by noise. You can notice the emotions you've been ignoring. You can reconnect with your why. In stillness, you stop being pulled by urgency and start being guided by purpose. And that's what successful people understand. They know that their best ideas don't come from rushing. They come from quiet reflection. They know that focus doesn't come from caffeine. It comes from clarity. They know that strength doesn't come from always pushing. It comes from knowing when to pause. You might think, but I don't have time for stillness on a Monday. My schedule's packed. That's exactly why you need it. Stillness doesn't take time. It gives time. It makes you more intentional. It reduces the noise so you can see what's actually important. It helps you move through the week with direction instead of distraction. Imagine the difference between starting your Monday rushing through your to-do list versus starting it by taking 5 deep breaths and setting a clear intention. One path begins with stress, the other begins with strength. The world moves fast. Notifications never stop. Pressure never pauses. But stillness is your reset, your quiet rebellion against the chaos. When you start your Monday in stillness, you're telling yourself, I'm in control. You're saying, I decide how my week begins. You're building a habit of mindfulness that compounds into confidence, clarity, and consistency. Every week, every goal, every success story begins in the same place, with a moment of stillness. So tomorrow morning, before you pick up your phone or open your laptop, try this. Just sit. Breathe. Think about what you want from the week, not what the world wants from you. Because in those few quiet moments, you're not escaping the world, you're preparing to lead it. Stillness is not about stopping your life. It's about starting it on purpose. And when you learn to begin your Mondays that way, you'll notice something incredible. Your week feels lighter, your focus becomes sharper, and your confidence grows. You'll stop chasing balance and start creating it. Stillness is where your best self begins. So, before you move, pause. Before you speak, breathe. Before you react, reflect. Because the most successful people don't rush into Monday. They rise into it. Most people wake up on Monday and go straight into reaction mode. The alarm goes off, and before their brain even fully wakes up, their thumb is already scrolling emails, texts, notifications, news. A flood of information hits them all at once, and instantly, their mind is on defense. They're not leading their day. They're chasing it. That's how most weeks start, not with focus, but with frenzy, not with intention, but with interruption. Successful people, on the other hand, live by a different rhythm. They've learned one of the most powerful habits of success: reflect instead of react. Reflection is what turns experience into insight. It's what separates busy people from effective people. When you reflect, you take a step back before you step forward. You pause to think, what do I want from this day? What do I want this week to stand for? You decide your focus before the world decides it for you. And that makes all the difference. Reaction is impulsive. Reflection is intentional. Reaction is emotional. Reflection is strategic. Every Monday morning, you get two choices. You can open your inbox and let the world tell you what matters, or you can take a few quiet moments to decide that for yourself. Here's what reflection looks like in practice. Before you jump into work, grab a notebook, open your journal, or simply sit with your thoughts for a few minutes. Ask yourself, what went well last week? What didn't go as planned? And what did it teach me? What are my top 3 priorities this week? What would make me proud by Friday? Those simple questions can shift your entire mindset. They take you out of reaction and into creation. You see, most people spend their Mondays reacting to problems from the past, cleaning up old messes, stressing over things that already happened. But successful people spend their Mondays creating the future, designing the next step, building the next win. They don't let last week's chaos dictate this week's clarity. Reflection gives you that power. It helps you see patterns in your behavior, your energy, and your results. When you reflect, you notice what drains you and what drives you. You start catching yourself before you slip back into old habits. You start seeing opportunities that were hidden in last week's challenges. Without reflection, life becomes a blur of reactions. You're constantly responding, but rarely improving. You're busy, but not growing. But when you build a rhythm of reflection, every week becomes a chance to refine yourself, to get sharper, wiser, and more aligned. Successful people know that the speed of the world can trick you into thinking movement equals progress. But that's not true. You can move fast and still be going in circles. Reflection makes sure you're moving in the right direction. And here's the beautiful part. Reflection doesn't require an hour-long process or a complicated ritual. It just requires awareness. It's that moment when you stop and think, what am I chasing this week? It's that decision to write down your priorities before checking your email. It's that commitment to pause, even for a minute, before reacting to stress. It's about giving your mind a moment to breathe, so your actions can come from clarity, not chaos. Imagine if every Monday, before diving into the noise, you spent 5 minutes reflecting. You'd start to see your week differently. You'd stop feeling like life is pulling you in every direction, and start feeling like you're steering the ship. That's what reflection does. It puts you back in control. It's easy to think that reacting quickly makes you efficient, but reacting too fast often leads to redoing the same mistakes. Reflection slows you down just enough to help you make smarter moves, not just faster ones. Leaders who reflect create teams that trust them. Entrepreneurs who reflect make decisions with clarity, not panic. Parents who reflect respond with patience instead of frustration. Reflection strengthens every role you play. You can't control everything that happens this week, but you can control how you respond to it. So before you react to that stressful email, that unexpected problem, or that loud Monday energy, pause, reflect, ask yourself, what's the best response here? What outcome do I really want? That short pause might be the difference between a stressful week and a successful one, because reacting is easy. Anyone can do that. But reflection, that's a discipline. That's what turns average days into meaningful ones and average people into great ones. So, this Monday morning, try something new. Don't rush into the noise. Don't open your phone before opening your mind. Spend just a few moments reflecting on your goals, your priorities, and your values. Decide who you want to be this week before the world pressures you to be someone else. That's the power of reflection. It gives you ownership of your week, your mindset, and your momentum. And when you master that, Mondays stop being stressful. They become strategic. So take a breath. Think, reflect, then move. Because the most successful people don't start their week reacting to life. They start it by directing it. You've probably heard the phrase, move your body, change your mood. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but it's one of the most powerful truths about human performance. Because when you move your body, you don't just activate your muscles, you activate your mind. That's why successful people start their Mondays, not just by planning their week, but by moving. They know that physical energy fuels mental energy. They understand that momentum in the body creates momentum in the brain. They've learned that the fastest way to reset a cluttered mind is to get the body in motion. Think about it. When you're sitting too long, staring at a screen, scrolling endlessly, your thoughts get stuck. You start to feel foggy, unmotivated, and heavy. But the moment you stand up, stretch, or take a short walk, something changes. You breathe differently. Your energy shifts. Your focus sharpens. That's not a coincidence. That's biology. Movement releases endorphins, boosts circulation, and wakes up parts of your brain responsible for focus, creativity, and problem solving. It literally rewires your emotional state. That's why athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders make movement a non-negotiable part of their morning, especially on Mondays. Because they know this, if you want to have a strong week, you have to start it in motion. Most people begin their Monday by dragging themselves out of bed, half asleep, immediately reaching for caffeine to feel awake. But coffee can only do so much. Real energy doesn't come from a cup. It comes from movement. You don't need a full workout routine to experience the difference. Even 10 minutes can reset your entire system. Go for a short walk, do a few push-ups, stretch. Dance to your favorite song while you get ready for work. It's not about intensity, it's about intention. Successful people don't move because they have extra time. They move because they make time. They understand that motion creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence. When you move your body, you send a message to your brain, I'm alive, I'm capable, I'm in control. That single act changes how you show up, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Think about the mornings when you've exercised or moved early in the day. You feel more alert. You make better food choices. You're more patient. You think more clearly. That's not motivation. That's chemistry. Your brain and body are designed to thrive when you move. And that's exactly why so many people struggle on Mondays. They start the week still stagnant and stressed. They sit in traffic, sit at desks, sit through meetings, and then wonder why they feel stuck. Movement is the antidote to stagnation. You don't have to become a gym addict or run marathons. You just have to commit to doing something that reminds your body and mind that you're not stuck. You're in motion. A morning jog, a yoga session, a walk around the block, even simple stretches at your desk. Every bit counts. The goal isn't perfection, it's activation. And here's the best part. Physical movement doesn't just make you feel better in the moment, it makes you think better long term. Studies show that consistent movement improves memory, creativity, and emotional resilience. It teaches your brain to handle pressure, recover from stress, and focus on solutions. When your body moves, your mind follows. That's why successful people rarely start a Monday sitting still. They get their blood pumping before they get their brain working. They know that a slow start physically often leads to a sluggish mindset. But a strong, active start, that sets the tone for the entire week. So what if this Monday, instead of diving straight into your to-do list, you moved first? What if you used your first 10 minutes not to check your phone, but to check in with your body? That single shift could change everything about how your week unfolds. You'll walk into your day more grounded, more confident, more present. You'll find yourself responding to stress with calm instead of panic. You'll carry a quiet kind of power, the kind that comes from being fully awake in both body and mind. Movement doesn't just prepare you for the week ahead, it empowers you to shape it. It's your reminder that you are not just a thinker, you are a mover. You are built for momentum, designed to adapt, and capable of building strength from motion. So, when the next Monday morning arrives and you feel that familiar heaviness, don't reach for your phone, don't dive into emails. Stand up, stretch, step outside, take a walk, feel your lungs expand, your heartbeat rise, your mind begin to clear. That's your reset button in action. When you move your body, you're not running away from problems. You're running toward clarity. You're giving your brain the space to think better, your heart the rhythm to feel stronger, and your spirit the signal that you're ready for more. Because successful people know motion is the bridge between intention and achievement. They don't wait to feel motivated before moving. They move and motivation follows. So today, move your body to move your mind. Don't wait for energy, create it. Don't wait for focus, activate it. Don't wait for momentum, build it. Because the moment you move, you've already begun to win the week. We live in a world that moves fast. Too fast sometimes. There's always another email, another meeting, another notification, another thing screaming for your attention. It's easy to wake up on a Monday and feel like you're already behind. Like your life is one long to-do list, and you're just trying to keep up. But here's a secret that successful people know. The key to staying driven isn't working harder. It's remembering why you're working in the first place. That's what it means to reconnect with purpose. Purpose is the fuel behind every meaningful success story. It's what gets you out of bed when motivation fades. It's what carries you through the grind when excitement wears off. It's what reminds you that your life isn't just about getting things done. It's about making what you do matter. When you reconnect with your purpose every Monday, you're not just starting another week. You're reigniting your reason for doing it. Because let's be honest, it's easy to forget. When the calendar fills up, when deadlines pile on, when people need things from you left and right, your purpose can slip quietly into the background. You start living on autopilot, doing, responding, reacting, but not really feeling connected to any of it. That's why successful people treat Monday mornings as more than just the start of a work week. They treat it as a check in with themselves. They ask, why am I doing what I'm doing? Who am I serving through my work? What difference do I want to make this week? Those questions aren't about productivity. They're about alignment. Because when you're aligned with your purpose, you stop running on fumes. You move with intention. Purpose gives your energy direction. It turns tasks into missions. It turns effort into meaning. When you reconnect with your why, even the smallest actions start to matter again. A simple email becomes an opportunity to help someone. A meeting becomes a moment to lead with clarity. A challenge becomes a chance to grow stronger. Purpose doesn't remove the hard parts of your week. It gives you a reason to face them. When you lose touch with your purpose, work feels heavy. Every obstacle feels personal. Every Monday feels like a mountain. But when you're connected to your deeper, Why? The same challenges become stepping stones. You stop seeing problems as punishments and start seeing them as part of the path. That's what separates successful people from the rest. They don't have fewer challenges. They just have stronger reasons to keep going. And here's the truth. Your purpose doesn't have to be massive or world-changing. It doesn't have to fit on a motivational poster. It just has to matter to you. Maybe your purpose is to provide for your family. Maybe it's to build something you can be proud of. Maybe it's to serve your community, create something beautiful, or simply become a better version of yourself. Whatever it is, remember it, especially on Mondays, because Monday has a way of testing us. It's the day we decide whether we'll coast through the week or rise with intention. That's why reconnecting with purpose is so important. It re-centers you. It reminds you that you're not just showing up to survive the week. You're showing up to shape it. Purpose gives your work meaning, your effort value, and your progress direction. It turns the daily grind into daily growth. And here's the best part, reconnecting with purpose doesn't take long. It could be a 5-minute reflection before work, a quiet moment in your car, a note on your mirror that says, "Remember why you started." Those small reminders keep your focus anchored when the week tries to pull you away. Every time you remind yourself of your purpose, you rebuild your resilience. You sharpen your focus. You lift your energy from the surface to something deeper. When you start your Monday that way, you stop asking, "How do I get through this week?" and start asking, "How do I make this week count?" That's a powerful shift, because when you reconnect with your purpose, work becomes more than a paycheck. Life becomes more than a schedule. Your days become chapters in a story that you're proud to write. So as you step into this Monday, take a moment before you rush. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, why am I here? What am I building? Who am I becoming? Let those answers guide you. Let them fuel you. Because purpose is not something you find once. It's something you must reconnect with again and again. Every Monday, every morning, every moment that matters. When you live with purpose, you don't just start your week, you ignite it. So remember, your purpose is your power. Reconnect with it, and your energy will return. Your focus will sharpen. Your drive will come back stronger than ever. And when you move through your week with that kind of alignment, every step, every effort, every challenge becomes part of something bigger. That's the real meaning of success.